Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Friday, December 3rd, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 in Hamilton, Bermuda. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. In 1984, on this date, 26 years ago, at a Union Carbide plant, a pesticide plant in Bhopal, India, a toxic cloud of gas was emitted, killing 4,000 people. Some of that litigation is still pending. We report on it occasionally. There's some breaking news. Guess who popped up in Afghanistan just now? President Obama. He's going to be addressing the troops. This is a surprise visit. He's at Bagram Air Force Base. Apparently he is not going into Kabul to meet with President Hamid Karzai of Afghanistan because of bad weather. So he'll be back here probably late tonight. Now to our main news. Some bad economic numbers came in here. The American economy added only 39,000 jobs in the month of November and actually bumped up the unemployment rate to 9.8%. Analysts had been expecting about 150,000 new jobs. That was not the case. Private companies added 50,000 jobs in November. Analysts generally estimate that the economy needs to add at least 100,000 to 125,000 jobs a month simply to keep up with new entrants to the labor force. So if employers keep hiring at the current pace, it won't help reduce the unemployment rate for some time. There might be a silver lining here. There are some reports floating around by Bloomberg and others that the rate of layoffs has not only stabilized but begun to decrease, possibly boding well for the future. The stock market is seemingly taking it in stride. It's only down about 20 points right now. Well, the bad weather in Europe is continuing. It's now producing deaths. There was a death toll in Poland now has jumped up to 30 people. There were a dozen more deaths overnight last night. Some of the worst floods in a century have devastated parts of the Balkans. Many of the people who died in Poland are either drunks or homeless people. Temperatures across most of Poland were around 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, in the Balkans, Bosnia, Serbia, and Montenegro had states of emergency declared as a result of heavy flooding caused by severe rainfall. The Drina River in particular has seen flooding the worst in over a century. The frigid weather has also caused travel chaos across parts of Europe. Britain's Gatwick Airport finally reopened today after a 48-hour closure. London's Heathrow is open, but the website advised travelers that some airlines were delaying flights. Charles de Gaulle in Paris experienced severe delays yesterday, but it's reporting no problems today. The insurance toll is beginning to come in. Royal Sun Alliance says that freezing weather conditions moving across the United Kingdom could cost the economy as much as £1.2 billion a day over the coming weeks. The firm is predicting that retailers and the restaurant and bar industries will be the worst affected. According to RSA, this cold front couldn't come at a worse time for the UK. Bad weather in the run-up to Christmas will have a major impact on the UK economy. There's another factor in play here. The value-added tax or sales tax is going to increase on January 1, 2011. So they were expecting a big rush of sales in December ahead of the tax increase. Many retailers are relying on these sales to see them through the traditionally quiet post-January sales period. Beazley, too, is coming in with some news. We printed this out. Beazley says that they have been snowed under, no pun intended, with a surge of event cancellation inquiries, as well as seeing a number of notifications of claims for attendees not being able to get to events or rock stars not being able to appear due to road, train, and air travel chaos. A number of high-profile concerts due to take place across England, featuring artists such as Paul Weller and Madness, have already been canceled. According to Beazley, 6 Premier League football matches scheduled for Saturday have been postponed, and at the moment 8 English Football League matches have been postponed, and rugby matches have been canceled, and race courses across England have been closed. These will all bring in event cancellation claims, unfortunately, and Beasley expects to be hit by them. XL Insurance has promoted Bob Shine to Chief Underwriting Officer of North America P&C. Shine most recently served as the Chief Casualty Underwriting Officer. His responsibilities have now expanded to include underwriting oversight across all of XL Insurance's P&C lines in Canada and the U.S. He's going to be based in New York. Before he joined XL in June, he headed Zurich North America Casualty Group. And some good news for SCOR. In France, they're saying that they have no exposure in sovereign debt to the countries affected by the debt crisis because they sold all their interest at the end of 2008. That was very prescient. SCOR said it has no assets linked to sovereign risk in either Greece, Ireland, Portugal, or Spain. It added that across these countries, it has no exposure to covered bonds and only marginal exposure, about 4 million euros, to its investments in corporate bonds from issuers based in those countries. SCOR said that it had noted the rise in sovereign risk in the worst affected countries back in November of 2008 and decided to completely remove its exposure to the risks. That's something. Stock market remains down about 19 points. We'll go to a word from our sponsors and come back with the rest of the news. Well, the stakes have just been raised on the Korean Peninsula. South Korea's next defense chief threatened this morning that South Korean jets would bomb the North if North Korea stages another attack like last week's. President Lee Myung-bak's government in South Korea is suffering big criticism that its response to North Korea's artillery barrage on November 23rd was weak, and over the stunning revelation that the South spy chief dismissed information back in August that the North might attack the frontline island of Yangpyeong, which in fact they did. The new defense chief, Kim Kwon-jin, told the parliamentary committee yesterday that further North Korean aggression will result in airstrikes. He said South Korea will use all its combat capabilities to retaliate. Well, in Israel now, 17,000 Israelis have been evacuated from Israel's third largest city of Haifa. This is because of the fire that we reported on yesterday that killed 40 prison guards when a bus overturned. European aircraft have dumped tons of water over flames shooting from the forest fire in northern Israel. A strong wind is fanning flames through one of the country's few natural forests and has now threatened Haifa. The Israelis are saying that they have received an unprecedented wave of international assistance. Some 100 firefighters from Bulgaria arrived, as well as fire extinguishing planes and crews from Greece, Britain, the United States, Russia, Egypt, Cyprus, Jordan, Spain, Azerbaijan, Romania, and Turkey. Turkey has put aside tensions over Israel's deadly raid on a Turkish Gaza-bound flotilla in May to lend a hand. The Israeli foreign minister said that all international aid was expected to arrive by this afternoon. He expressed confidence that the fire could be suppressed by Saturday night. The defense minister, Ehud Barak, ordered the military to make all of its resources available. The Israeli Air Force is coordinating the effort. This disaster has exposed critical shortfalls in Israel's emergency services sector, with the country's resources focused primarily on its military and police forces. Firefighters have been undermanned and underfunded for years. I think that will stop soon. Well, in the United States, there's a big debate that comes up on something called American exceptionalism. What does that mean? Conservatives and others would have you believe that American exceptionalism is something where Americans view themselves to be an exceptional people with an exceptional history and an exceptional philosophy and an exceptional level of patriotism, an exceptional story. Every country is an exceptionalism candidate. They each have their own stories, their own patriotism. Most of the people who avow such exceptionalism in the United States are people who have never been out of the United States, or people who have never traveled and have never seen other countries. Most of those people have no idea that some countries are even ahead of the United States in certain areas. Those people stay at home and they believe that America is the greatest country on earth. It is, but there are other countries that are far more advanced than we are in some areas. In the United States, the fastest train service can be found between New York City and Washington, D.C. It's something called an Acela train liner. It travels at the robust speed of about 125 miles per hour in only certain areas. Try using your cell phone on the train. It rarely works. Well, in China today, a passenger train hit 300 miles per hour, 302 miles per hour to be exact. This was on a test run of a yet-to-be-open link between Beijing and Shanghai. The trip between Beijing and Shanghai currently takes 5 hours. When the train becomes operational sometime next year, it's going to take 2.5 hours. State TV footage showed the sleek train whipping past green farm fields. It reached a top speed on a segment of the 824-mile track of 302 miles per hour. I'll tell you, they've spent $32.5 billion on the Beijing-Shanghai line alone. No wonder they're getting that kind of success. Infrastructure and exceptionalism, taxes and no taxes, Tea Party and spending. Sort of a futile effort. We hope you have a very good weekend. It's cold here in New Jersey. It finally seems like winter. And we'll be back on Monday. We may have breaking news later today. If we do, we'll come back and see you. Thank you for watching.